and welcome back to the Mental Clinic. My name is Omai Thanganga and I want to thank you for tuning in to yet another episode of fun, enlightenment and learning. Also, before I start, I want to apologize for the late release. I've had ups and downs, like we talked in the other video. Ups and downs have to be there so that we may learn and grow. Also, I want to remind you, do not look at the glass as half empty but half full. So today we are going to talk about anxiety. To begin with, let me explain what anxiety is. Anxiety basically is the body's natural response to stress. Also, a general feeling of fear about what is to come. That is, for example, when you're going to a job interview, to a new school, you have a certain bit of anxiety of how the situation will be in your new job or maybe in your new school. Ordinarily, anxiety is a feeling that comes and goes. It doesn't interfere with normal life. Extreme feelings of anxiety last longer than 6 months, interfere with life. Therefore, you might have an anxiety disorder. So when you feel that the pangs of anxiety are lasting for long, they are red flags. So what are anxiety disorders? So an anxiety disorder is what causes you not to enjoy things that you like doing. Anxiety disorders sometimes interfere with normal activities. For example, it may prevent you from entering an elevator, crossing the road, visiting the ocean, visiting a forest, maybe a nature trail and all that. If you do not identify the triggers that cause the fear of not going into that lift or doing something that you enjoy doing, the disorder of not doing that will remain untreated. So to begin with, you have to recognize that it's not normal for you to have an anxiety crossing the road. Okay, so when you realize that, you are able to seek further medical advice, or you are able to be aware of what you're going through. So I want the next topic is about types of anxiety disorders. By going through this, you will understand the specific anxiety disorder you might have. So the first anxiety disorder is separation anxiety disorder. This disorder is about the fear of being away from those people you love. This disorder can affect even children under 2 years. Have you ever seen a mother trying to leave a kid in a daycare facility, but the kid is not okay with it? She or he keeps crying, throwing tantrums, or emotional and physical reactions towards the mother leaving. So that is separation anxiety disorder. Also, grown-ups, we experience this through basically not wanting to live away from our parents, away from our siblings. We just want to be close to them. So that is separation anxiety disorder. Number 2, we have panic disorder. Panic disorder is experiencing recurring panic attacks at unexpected times. A person with panic disorder is always in fear, since they don't know when the panic attack will come. You're always feeling you can't go anywhere because anytime you're going to just fall down or feel breath has left you or things like that. So that is panic attack disorder. This disorder is serious because it interferes generally with everything. You can't go to school, you can't go to work, because every time you go, you fear, what if I fall down? What kind of impression will I make? That is basically what panic attack disorder or panic disorder is about. The third disorder is phobias. This affects so many people in unexpected ways. So phobias are excessive fear of specific objects or subjects or situations or activity. Example of phobias is, number 1, we have hydrophobia, the fear of water. Number 2, arachnophobia, fear of spiders. We have claustrophobia, fear of closed spaces. So those are just some of the phobias that we have. There are many other phobias. So you might be experiencing this and you don't know. Especially those people who fear closed spaces, can't even get into elevators. Because, you know, when the elevator door closes, you feel like you're going to start panicking, you're sweating, you look like you're going to explode. So basically, that is what phobias are about. Number 4, we have obsessive compulsive disorder. We call it, in short, OCD. I'm sure so many people have heard at you, oh, you're on OCD, this one has OCD, this one has OCD, but they don't know what OCD is. OCD is a disorder that is characterized by excessive orderliness, cleanliness, attention to details, perfectionism, and a need for control. Where everywhere you go, you just want to control things because you feel if they're not done your way, then they're not in perfection. So that is obsessive compulsive disorder. I also want you to note that people with OCD, it is a problem. As much as it helps people organize their lives, it is a problem because you can't relate with your friends. Your friends can't even visit you because when they sit down on your couch, you assume that they're going to make it dirty. So OCD is another disorder. Number 5, we have illness anxiety disorder. This disorder is anxiety about your health, intense fear of having a serious condition, worrying about, you know, when you have, for example, a headache or you have a backache, you worry that it might be something bigger than it is. You start saying, ama niko na hypertension, ama niko na high blood pressure, ama niko na, you know. That is a disorder in itself. When you find yourself over-worrying about your health, you know, if you're not over-worrying about it, for example, if you're not worrying too much about your headache, you'll just take a painkiller, sleep it off, drink some water. But when you over-worry, you find yourself knocking in doctors, hospital, or any doors every other day that you feel some pain somewhere. So that is illness anxiety disorder. You have to be careful about this because some doctors will not tell you that you are not sick. Some doctors will tell you you're sick and you'll be given medications all your life. So be careful and realize when you have illness anxiety disorder. Number 6, we have PTSD, which is post-traumatic stress disorder. This anxiety disorder is one that follows a traumatic event. This condition may last years with triggers of memories of trauma. You know, for example, people who go through PTSD, for example, might have been abused, might have gone through military combat, you know, kids who grow up with PTSD maybe had abusive parents, you never know. So PTSD is a very serious disorder which can actually last all your life if not treated. So the triggers that cause PTSD, they elicit emotional and physical responses and reactions. For example, when you see something similar to whatever had happened to you, you start, for example, crying, shaking, you want to run away. You know, those are some emotional and physical responses that happen if you have PTSD. So if you realize you're going through this, seek medical advice, seek medical attention, and you are going to be better. Number 7, we have generalized anxiety disorder, or GAD. GAD is characterized by persistent and excessive worry about money, health, work, and other issues. People under the age of 65 are at a high risk of experiencing this disorder, especially those who are single. Why? They have a lower socio-economic status, thus inducing life stresses. For example, For example, if you are under 65, you're not married, you're just a single person, and you're struggling through work, you're struggling through feeding yourself, feeding your family, you worry. But then this GAD by the way also affects women more than men, because women are always worried about what their children will eat, what their husbands will eat if you have a husband, what tomorrow will be like. So GAD basically is excessive worry about anything and everything that has to do with our livelihood. So that is the end of the okay, those are just a few disorders I felt that I should highlight, because they affect a larger number of people considered to other anxiety disorders. So the last thing I want to talk about in this video is going to be the symptoms of anxiety. I want you to note that anxiety feels differently depending on who is experiencing it. You might feel sweaty palms, headaches, and all that, and somebody else will feel something differently. Feelings of anxiety can range from maybe butterflies in the stomach, a racing heart, feeling out of control, or a disconnect between your mind and your body. You know, when you can't control your body, your mind is not even thinking about what the body is doing. So that is what we call a disconnect. I'm so sorry. Other people experience nightmares, panic attacks, uncontrollable painful thoughts or memories, you know. So as I have said before, you will experience nightmares, somebody else will experience a racing heart, but anxiety hits us differently. There are people who are better at controlling anxiety, but others so poor in it. So you should know your stronghold and know how to take control of the symptoms of anxiety. In the next video, we are going to talk about how immediate responses, immediate ways to deal with anxiety, but that is for the next video. So let me tell you general symptoms that you might have, or a majority of us might have when we have anxiety. Number one, we have an increased heart rate, we have rapid breathing. You know, when you can't control your breathing, I'm sure some of you who have anxiety have gone through that. It's not a good feeling. We have restlessness or feeling on edge. You can't settle in one place. You just want to do things, or you feel like somebody is coming up to you. Somebody is doing this, you know. You're always on edge. Difficulty falling asleep, because your mind is racing. You know, we talked about the mind and the heart racing during stress. So during the last topic, which was stress, so you can go and watch the video. So difficulty sleeping is brought about by you having a racing heart, what is it called? The pumping of blood to the mind, to the body. You know, you can't rest. You keep thinking and thinking. Another symptom is trouble concentrating. You know, when you're in your mind, you're always thinking about other things. You can't concentrate on what other people are doing or your surrounding. So that is another symptom of anxiety. I want you to also note that most symptoms occur when someone is feeling anxious, because the parasympathetic system goes into an overdrive. The parasympathetic system is responsible for fight or flight. We talked about fight or flight in the other video also, when we were talking about stress. So if you have not watched the video, I think all these videos are interlinked. When you watch the first, you watch the second. I mean, there is a systematic growth of information and knowledge about your mental health. So please watch the video on stress and the other video that we were talking about wellness, so that you may understand all these topics. So I think I will end at that. In the next video, we're going to talk about causes of anxiety and how to control anxiety, natural remedies for anxiety. So please watch the next. I hope that you've learned a few things about what anxiety is. Basically, it was a run through, but I'm sure somebody has actually realized whether they have a problem or not. Thanks again for watching this video. Signing out, Mama Thanganga.